Hi guys, my name's Sean. I'm the head and chief instructor at SKMA Martial Arts in Totton. Just wanted to put a little message out there, just make people aware of who we are and what we do. So I teach martial arts to anybody that wants to learn, from the ages of 4 years old right through to 71. Our eldest member's 71. I've got a couple of people in their 70s, loads in their 60s. And then from there, right the way down to 4 years old. Now, when we're teaching our classes, every program is very different and we have lots of different stuff going on. So for our little ninjas, for 4 to 6 year olds, it's general martial arts. They learn punches, kicks, blocks, in the form of like a karate based syllabus. And we do pad work from kickboxing as well. Now, our 7 to 12 year olds learn karate or kickboxing, or they can do both. Membership covers everything. So when it comes to training as a junior from a 7 to 12 year old, they can do either style or both. If their parents decide they want them to try a bit of both. So we've got traditional karate and then we've got kickboxing, which is more fitness based and pad work training. Now, regardless of what child's program they do, regardless of their age, we do life skills. And to prove that, should have had it ready really, but I'm just doing this off the cuff. We do life skills. So they get a monthly chart to take home. And as you can see, this one is self-control. So I'll work on self-control for the last month and a half, nearly 2 months. We'll be finished by the end of the month. And when the kids have completed their sticker charts at home saying they've had self-control for 2 whole months and they've been working really hard on it, that life skill's there forever. So they get this certificate to take home. Now, just because they've learned something for 2 months doesn't mean that's bed in and set in for the rest of their life. It's now their parents' responsibility to make sure that that life skill we've been teaching in classes is now implemented at home and kept on top of. Now, all the parents have to do is just tell me the second their child stops having good self-control, and we get the kids to come back in, and this little certificate gets ripped up and they've got to do it again the next time it comes round. Now, bearing in mind, we've got 12 life skills. Now, 12 life skills, and we do one every second month. So it takes 2 months to complete. So that means if I rip up their certificate to say they didn't have good self-control, and that life skill that we've just spent 2 months on went out the window, I rip up that certificate, they've got to wait till that comes all the way around again in 2 years' time. So they can't complete the course until they've done it. Now, some people think that's a bit harsh. My job is not to be nice and nicey and give them everything they want. My job is to challenge their behaviour, teach them how to be a decent person, and instill life skills that are going to set them on into a good path for the rest of their life. Now, that being said, the parents that bring their children down to me fully respect everything we're doing and are in conversations with me on a weekly basis about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. We'll have a conversation with the parents up front about anything we're about to do, anything we want to do. We have polls on our WhatsApp group to make sure they're happy with everything. But for the most part, we are the village that helps their children learn their life skills and learn how to be a decent person, because these kids, since lockdown, they've got it really tough. The schools aren't doing a good enough job. They struggle to socialise. It's hard to socialise when you're online all the time. How many of your children are really good on a computer, talking to their friends online all the time on their mobile phone, and then you put them in a room with 2 kids and they just sit there and look at each other like, don't know what to do. They don't know how to talk, they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to play, some of them. It's really sad to watch 2 4-year-olds sit in a room together and just not know what to do, because they just don't have that life skill. They don't have that experience on how to be a good person and how to have fun, which is tough. Now, in our classes, we do have a healthy dose of fun. So we have lots of games that we play in classes. Now, the games aren't games. They're skills and drills of anything I'm trying to do. So we play something called the beanbag game. We've got a couple of beanbags, and as you can see in our dojo, we've got square mats. They're 1 metre each. So they start at the front of the room on this red line. I throw a beanbag to them. They have to catch it with the hand I tell them to catch it with. So they need to know left and right, and they've got to be able to catch with the good hand and the bad hand. We're teaching how to be ambidextrous. Now, from that point, they catch it, they throw it back to me, I catch it. So we're looking at range, we're looking at targeting, we're looking at picking something out of the air. So they've got good hand-eye coordination. And then from there, they work their way down the room. So the further down the room they go, the harder it is to catch. And similarly, it's harder to throw it as well. So we're working on control too. Now that doesn't sound like much to the layman, someone who doesn't do this like we do, but that's teaching us how the child catches, how they throw. Now, if you were going to throw a punch or perform a block, you need hand-eye coordination, you need to know range, and you need to know distancing. So that's one little game with a multitude of things that we're doing at the same time to build a skill. And from there, we can build that into the classes and move on. So I don't want to go on too much and keep ranting on about what we do and how we do it, because I'm going to give away too much of what we do. Your job now is to look up my website, which is www.skmartialarts.com. Find us on Facebook as SKMA Martial Arts. Book a trial and come down and have a look. No pressure. I'm not going to try and sign you up for anything. I want you to come and look at what we do and how we do it and see if it would suit your child. If you want your child to be well disciplined, have good life skills, be a decent person, and more importantly, have good self-defense, we are the perfect place for you in Tottenham and Southampton. Now, one other minor thing I'd like to mention is self-defense in this day and age is really important. And I'm not talking about fighting. I'm not talking about punching someone in the face if they try and hurt you. I'm talking about looking after yourself in today's climate. Now, for a 4 to 6 year old, what are they going to do against an adult? Not a lot. But should they be able to call for an adult, go and find help, report something to their teacher or you as a parent, look after their friends? I had a really sad situation in here not so long ago where one of our students, who was probably one of our top guys, was only about 7, and he's got the best strikes, the best blocks, the best kicks. He's coordinated, he works hard, he's diligent, gives it everything. Never in a million years would we have thought that he was getting bullied. And as it turns out, he was getting seriously bullied. To the point where he ended up in casualty one day. Now, nobody knew, we didn't know, the parents didn't know, the teachers knew, but didn't want to say anything to the parents because they were dealing with it. Now, that kid was getting bullied relentless for a while. Now, he has all the skills to look after himself. He's got all the life skills. He knows what he's doing. But somewhere along the line, the school's failed him. They've not reported to the parents what's going on. He's too embarrassed to say anything. So we find out this is going on. I have a phone call with the parents, have a chat with them. They're distraught because they brought him into martial arts to kind of make sure this never happened. And unfortunately, it did happen. So what have we done? We've gone back to the parents, we've spoken to them, we've got the child down here, we've sat up in the office and we've gone, right, what's been going on? What's led to this? How do we get here in the first place? And where do we go from here? Now, bearing in mind, this kid can defend himself so well. Like, there's nothing we can do in this dojo with any of the kids that he wouldn't be able to deal with. And even some of the adults can't keep up with him. He's solid. So it turns out the school have told them they're not allowed to defend themselves. They're not allowed to hit back. They're not allowed to say anything. Now, this kid's reported it to the school 5 or 6 times, and they've gone, yeah, stop being a wimp. Stop being a wimp. Seriously? That's the way they deal with things. It's disgusting. Now, he was told by his parents, no fighting, not to be used in school. Martial arts is not to be used in school, which I completely agree with. It's not to be used in school. If you're a bully, you don't train here. End of. But on the flip side of the coin, it is for self-defense. Now, he's done the right thing. He's told his teachers. They've told him, stop being a wimp. Stop splitting on everybody. Snitches get stitches, apparently. That's something a teacher said. Fantastic, that, isn't it? Snitches get stitches. Disgusting. Now, he was told by his parents originally, martial arts is not to be used at school. If you bully somebody, you won't be allowed to go to martial arts anymore. And I've backed that up myself. If you're a bully, you won't be allowed to train with me because I don't teach bullies. I teach people to look after themselves and their friends. Now, we failed him there between me and the parents because we didn't explain, or we weren't clear enough on the circumstances and the situation at hand and how that should be dealt with. So once he was told he's not allowed to use martial arts at school, he won't be allowed to train here if he's bullying people, and then the school's telling him what they've said, disgusting, and they said you're not allowed to use it, if you do you'll be suspended. Goalpost, stuck in the middle, can't do anything, I'm going to get bullied, cool. So upon having a conversation with him and hearing what he said, parents have reiterated what they meant in terms of you don't hit first, and if you do defend yourself, it's one movement, one punch, one kick, whatever you need to do to get them off you, and they go report to the school. Now, the parents have gone back to the school, they've had a conversation with the head teacher, child protection policies at the school, they needed to be shifted, they needed to be changed, and that's fine. But from our end, that's changed the way we teach our classes as well, and I've changed the way I have to communicate to the children in terms of self-defense as well. So there is no bullying. There is no way of using your martial arts to bully somebody if you want to drain here. But self-defense is more than punches and kicks, it's communicating. And if the school turns around and says something like that to you, your parents have to be informed at the same time. They need to know what's going on just as much as the school do. And then similarly, I need to know. I'm your instructor, I'm your child's instructor. I want to know what's going on, I want to know they're safe and protected and things are being done properly. So since that's happened, we've had a full breakdown of everything we teach, the way we communicate, the way we do things for the children. At each age group, we teach and train. And we've revisited every self-defense scenario, every conversation we have, and the way we have that conversation. And we're much clearer on what happens now and how it happens. And this is going to be a yearly thing now.